technology is the most powerful change in the world of education. Welcome to the video interview series Augmented Reality-based technology in the classroom, delivered to you by Clever Books Company.
Hello everyone, we again today with the video interview series Augmented Reality-based technology in the classroom. And we have today Martin with us. Hello Martin.
Hello there, thank you for this opportunity today.
Yes, thank you for being with us and very much appreciated. And Martin, I think I will give you the word and maybe you can introduce yourself, talk about a little bit about your experience and also tell the listeners where you're from.
So my name is Martin Bailey. I'm Digital Enrichment Leader at Lanchester EP Primary School in Co.Durham in the northeast of England. And I'm also director of my own company, Animate to Educate Ltd. At Lanchester EP, I have the opportunity to work with all pupils from EYFS to year 6, so that's from 3 and 4 year olds up to 10 and 11 year olds. And I also oversee staff development and the procurement of new resources. In my role with Animate Educate, I deliver pupil workshops and staff training on all aspects of primary computing in schools around the UK and beyond. I've presented at a number of national and international computing conferences and have had articles published in a wide range of educational publications.
Yes, thank you, Martin. Can you share with us your experience maybe or your professional opinion on the use of emerging technologies such as augmented reality in education?
Well, I'm a huge fan of augmented reality and I believe it can be of great benefit in the education sector. I'm constantly exploring new AR apps and looking at which ways I can utilise them within my sessions. At the simplest level, they offer that wow effect for pupils and act as a great stimulus for learning. But the benefits of AR are far greater than simply being a gimmick, and hopefully this afternoon I can share with you sort of some of the ways in which I've used augmented reality in the classroom in recent years.
Yes, that would be fantastic if you can share some apps or some, I don't know, name couple of that you use in the classroom already and probably get your feedback of what actually did work, what didn't work, and how also the kids reacted on such applications, and again, what the teacher's opinion about the use of augmented reality-based applications in the classroom. That would be fantastic.
Okay. So I've been using augmented reality in the classroom for about the past 3 years now with children of all ages. And to begin with, it was apps that sort of showcased AR capabilities as opposed to ones that were created sort of specifically for the educational market. So an example like String, which was an augmented reality showcase app, would be a great example of this. And I think sort of many teachers a few years ago, that might have been their first example of using augmented reality. And so within this app, there was a great alien character that could wander around your desk and a dragon that could appear through a portal on the floor. And these provide an amazing sort of hook for children, and their writing about these characters was far greater than it would have been had the pupils been simply given a static image of one of these characters. Zoo Kazam was another example of an early AR app that I utilised, and it brings a whole range of wonderful animals to life. And when studying something such as polar bears, it allows people to experience and explore an animal that would never be able to view in the real world. And once more, their interest and subsequent writing was greatly aided by this app, as we were able to view in 360 this amazing animal and investigate closely its different features. The next development for me was when you started getting augmented reality apps specific for the education sector. And Arloon was one of the first companies I came across who developed a range of educational AR apps. Their solar system, plants, and anatomy apps added a great dimension to science lessons and allowed for some amazing photo opportunities with pupils holding planets in their hands and seeing plants grow up from their exercise books. And the fact that Arloon used a single trigger image for all their apps also made a big difference as to how accessible they were, and certainly teachers seen this as a great benefit. But the moment for me when I truly believed in the power of AR for the use in education, when I was first introduced to Arloon's geometry app. The link between a 2D NEP and a 3D shape is a very abstract concept and one that children regularly struggle with. But with this app, pupils were able to interact and to highlight different faces and could unfold and fold again the shape right in front of their eyes. And this was a real game changer for me. At the same sort of time, you were getting a number of augmented reality books appearing on the market, many of which were specific for education. Carlton Books in particular have developed a great range of augmented reality books and have introduced a number of these into schools. Many people do show concern that the tech in many ways overshadows the reading of the book, but my own experience of visiting the library as a child was that I would be drawn to the pop-up books. I loved all the different levers and flaps. I ultimately read the book though because I was interested and stimulated by the interaction. And for me, AR books are just simply the 21st century's version of pop-up books. I'm now at a stage where augmented reality is being used regularly in a variety of different ways by both pupils and teachers across the curriculum. A great example of this would be a recent superhero topic with Year 1 pupils. Teachers used FX Guru, the augmented reality app, to create videos if the school was under attack by visitors from another planet. And then as part of their work on Superhero Day, when they were dressed up in their different costumes, children used Superpower Effects app to create visually stunning videos that showed the superpowers that would be used to defeat the unwanted invaders. Not only was the hook once more for pupils amazing, but having watched their videos, the pupils were able to use brilliant vocabulary to describe what was happening. This just wouldn't have been possible from imagination alone. And a notable mention must also go to the free app Erasmus, which has recently changed its name to HP Reveal. This is a great app that enables you to make your own AR content and is fantastic for providing a vehicle to create the wonderful video content that pupils create. Your own trigger images can be chosen and these can then be used on display boards or in exercise books to bring the pupils' work to life.
Okay, well, fantastic. That sounds great. It looks like you've used quite a few augmented reality applications. But can you tell me maybe from a perspective on educators, what are the challenges actually to bring in such emerging technologies like AR to the classroom, and what would influence actually the decision of a teacher to bring it in to the classroom?
Well, augmented reality has, in my opinion, great benefits for use in the classroom. Like any new emerging technology, there are always challenges to overcome. And the first of these is simply fear. I think staff see the amazing outcomes of augmented reality apps and wrongly presume that they must be difficult to use and that it's not something that they could incorporate within their own lessons. You know, they simply sort of lack confidence, really. Secondly is, of course, access to the equipment that allows the use of AR to be possible. Many UK schools are now in a position where tablet technology is common within the classroom, but there is great discrepancies from one school to another, and lots are in a position where they do not have access to such resources. And even if schools do have tablet technology, they're not necessarily readily available to each teacher or class, or teacher may be wanting to use quite immediately an AR app within the classroom, but the tablets might already be timetabled to another class. And I think thirdly, you've got the rate of change. Apps and tablet devices are constantly being updated. And to keep up to date with these changes is very hard for a school, both in terms of physically managing the update and the associated costs involved. iOS 11 has, for example, brought with it significant developments in terms of augmented reality. But many schools with iPads are not able to necessarily update to this latest version because of the technology that they had maybe purchased some years ago. And even if they can, then you, for example, lose access to 32-bit apps that are not now compatible with iOS 11. So it really is a catch-22 sort of situation. And I think the dilemma and the costs involved mean that in many cases, schools simply won't update.
And as far as I understand, it's also that some teachers don't know what to start with and how to proceed working with augmented reality apps. Have you come across such challenge as well?
I think so, yes. Like most areas of the curriculum, staff are not necessarily being released as much as they were in the past for training. And so unless it is an area that you have a particular interest in, and you've possibly taken time yourself sort of via social media or whatever to keep up with the latest technologies, then for want of a better term, your average classroom practitioner is probably unlikely to be aware of emergence technologies such as augmented reality, and as you said, simply wouldn't know where to start, whether that is through sort of fear, lack of confidence, or simply lack of awareness as to what actually is available and how it could be utilised within the classroom.
Thank you, Martin. And the other thing you mentioned, quite a few resources and applications already used in your practical experience. And can you share, are they paid applications or are they free applications? What is majority? How do you choose as well yourself which applications to try and which applications, for example, you see straight away that they're no use?
Yeah, well, I think like all areas of the curriculum, you know, there is a mixture of both free and paid for apps available. So quite a number of the apps I've mentioned today are free of charge, although some of them are paid apps. And certainly, you know, with any area of app deployment, I would never recommend a school to purchase tablet technology if they're only going to use free apps. Like with anything, often, you know, quality does come with a cost, and we shouldn't have presumed that sort of everything is going to be free. But, you know, apps like Erasmus, now HP Reveal that I've mentioned, is a completely free app. The Superpower Effects apps and FX Guru apps that I mentioned earlier on, some elements of those apps are free of charge, although there is in-app purchase elements to it. When it comes to lots of the books that have augmented reality in them, then the apps themselves are free of charge, but obviously you need the books to be able to utilize the augmented reality element, and there's of course a cost for the books, although the books are not necessarily much greater in price than other books that you would purchase to you know, stimulate that area of the curriculum. So people shouldn't sort of presume that there is a huge cost to augmented reality. The Loon apps that I mentioned earlier on, there is a small charge for each of those apps, but they would be in line with sort of you know, other apps that you would sort of purchase on the App Store. So again, it's not a huge cost involved in terms of the apps and the necessary resources to implement augmented reality. The biggest cost is, of course, in the having the tablet technology at your fingertips in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Yes, well, thank you. That's a very good point. We also came past the research that's said that augmented reality can actually benefit kids with learning disabilities and difficulties, and probably less academic kids. What is your professional opinion? Would it be valuable for them? How beneficial is it?
Yeah, I certainly think so. And, you know, whilst I believe that augmented reality can benefit greatly all pupils, I do think that it can be a particular benefit to those who are, you know, traditionally less academically successful. You know, firstly, these are likely to be pupils who will need the stimulus within lessons in a non-traditional way, such as, you know, simply text or an image. And AR can certainly provide this. Secondly, I think it can provide understanding of topics without the need for reading and comprehension of lots of text through the use of visual imagery and audio that augmented reality can provide. And thirdly, I think the physical interaction that some AR apps allow gives the more kinesthetic learner the opportunity to develop an understanding of quite abstract concepts. And, you know, we've got to remember that, you know, for lots of children, even down to that sort of, you know, fine motor control and, you know, ability to manipulate a pen or a pencil or to type in a keyboard might not be something that they can access. So, you know, augmented reality sort of, you know, does give, you know, pupils of all abilities and, you know, sort of needs the opportunity to access a broad and balanced curriculum.
Thank you. Can you share maybe, or from your opinion, what are the three main challenges in implementing augmented reality-based technology in the classroom that you probably came across, or maybe you've heard the opinion of other teachers or other educators?
Yeah, I think I've probably touched upon sort of some of those things in a previous answer. So I think firstly you've got that sort of fear or lack of confidence sort of from staff to actually to get started with things, or, you know, as we said, sort of simply, you know, having no knowledge or understanding of augmented reality. I think secondly, you've got access to the technology in the first place. Not all schools are in the position where they can utilize augmented reality because of, you know, lack of tablet technology within their schools. And I think sort of thirdly, the biggest challenge is the is the rate of change, you know, even for those schools sort of with tablet technologies. We mentioned sort of things like the changes to iOS and the fact that apps are constantly need sort of updating, and the logistics of actually managing and utilising and implementing augmented reality from both a physical and a financial point of view is very, very, very difficult to come up with. So whilst on a one-to-one basis, you know, we can sort of look at the fantastic apps and technology that's out there, in terms of, you know, implementing that on a whole class or a whole school level can be very difficult and very challenging.
Martin, thank you very much for your professional opinion and for all the information that you've shared today. I believe that it's going to be valued for many, many teachers across the world, and who are already using augmented reality in the classroom or just starting to implement it. And I'm sure that the resources that you've named today will be probably tried and used. So thank you very much for being with us today. It's been a pleasure having you around.
Absolute pleasure, and thank you for this opportunity today. Hopefully we might get the chance to speak again at some point in the future.
Thank you.
Everything changes.